Who's excited for 45 more minutes of economic data and charts? Woo, right? Yes, let's go. This is going to be a good time. I think you should be excited because although I will be leveraging data and charts to educate and inform, I also hope to empower you. I hope to teach you some ways that you can leverage economic data to predict what's going to happen around the corner and to make better informed strategic decisions for your own business. But before we get to all of that, I want to point out a couple of things. Number one, my last name, Chausovsky, represents the fact that I was not born in this country. I'm originally from Kiev, Ukraine, and I emigrated to the United States in 1990 when I was 10 years old. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. Great, another Russian in our midst trying to tell us what to do. I assure you, Robert Mueller and his team looked into it. There's no collusion between ITR and the Russian government. But I do think that my perspective, my experience, my foreign upbringing does give me a unique perspective on the United States economy. I am very proud to be here. I feel very fortunate to have the opportunities that I have. And I want to start the presentation by recognizing how awesome America is, right? Because I think a lot of times we're constantly inundated by negativity. In media, online, in print, people love to tell us all the things that are wrong with this country, and very few people actually take the time to highlight how amazing this country really is. The fact that clearly and by far, based on personal experience, this is the best place in the world to live, to raise your families, and to conduct business. And so I hope that despite the fact that we're going to talk about economics, you will see some of that messaging carry through. I want to empower you, and I want to instill in you this belief that the future is quite bright for all of you here in Denver and for the United States economy as a whole. The other thing I want to point out is my title, Director of Speaking Services. I am not an economist by trade. I have an international business degree from the University of Texas at Austin and an MBA. And as Bruce mentioned, I spent 15 years prior to joining this current firm, ITR Economics, advising companies all around the world. So I want to talk to you about the economy in practical, sensible way. I want you to be able to walk away with some actionable steps, some things that you can actually do based on the economic information that will help you make better decisions as you traverse 2019 and certainly into 2020 as well. I start every presentation that I do by showing this slide. It's basically the report card for all of the major macroeconomic series forecasts that ITR produces. And the reason I do this is because I feel that since I'm claiming to be a soothsayer, to be able to predict the future, I feel it's only fair to share with you our past results. So what you can see here on the left-hand side, that's the major macroeconomic series. You can see both GDP, industrial production, some foreign indicators there, as well as core components of the economy, employment and retail sales and housing. The second column, duration, shows you how many months that particular forecast was in place when we compared the predicted value, when we generated the forecast, to the actual year-end 2018 number. Now, you'll notice it says preliminary results. Because of the government shutdown, some of the December data hasn't come out yet, so I can't claim that this is final 2018 numbers, but you can get a sense of what we've been able to accomplish. Because by looking at the accuracy column, you can see that we've been pretty good about foretelling what the economy is going to do. But more importantly than the accuracy, I think it's the duration. Most of our macro series forecasts have now been in place at least 2 years. So in addition to being a reliable source of information, we can be kind of that stake in the ground for you to base your decisions upon. We can be a true partner in making those strategic business decisions as you look towards the future. There's also a personal reason I like to start with this chart. I find it helps keep me a little bit grounded. You see, although I am relatively young, at 39 years of age, I married my high school sweetheart. So I've been now with the same woman for more than half my life, more than 20 years. And my wife is a native Texan, born and raised in Austin. She's a very strong-willed and opinionated woman whom I respect and admire very, very much. But I've come to find out over the last 20 years that whenever we have any kind of disagreement, when we don't see eye to eye, my personal accuracy rate at home sucks, okay, right? It may be 2% at best. So the good news for you is I save all of my correctness for the office, which will, of course, benefit you over the next 45 minutes or so. All right, let's talk about what we're going to talk about. So the summary of the presentation is essentially I'm going to talk to you about the business cycle. We are in a very long rising trend, as Patty said. It's near record territory, but as with all good things, it is going to come to an end. And we expect the peak in the U.S. economic business cycle to occur in the first half of this year, and for the economy to slow for the remainder of 2019 and into 2020. Depending on the part of the economy in which you play, whether it's consumer-focused or industrial-focused, your outlook is slightly different. We do expect some mild recessionary activity in the first half of next year for manufacturing companies, for oil and gas companies, for mining and utility companies. But the consumer side of the economy, as I'll show you, is expected to not go through negativity. It will have a lull, so to speak, a slowdown, perhaps a chance for many of you to catch your breath after the long extended growth streak, and really a chance for you to start thinking about how do I prepare my business and my personal finances for the next rising streak in the U.S. economy, for the next period of accelerating growth that we expect to occur in the second half of 2020 and into 2021. I think it's a healthy pullback, but it's going to be mild, it's going to be brief, and really gives you a chance to catch your breath. We know it's coming because we see it already happening in much of the rest of the world. You look to Canada, Europe, Asia, most of those places are already slowing down. And really what happens with the major kind of issues that are being driven in the political arena, things like trade uncertainty and further tariffs, that's going to be the big X factor today and this year as a whole that I believe will influence whether or not we do go through this soft landing by late 2019, early 20, or if we actually find ourselves in a little bit more of a negative environment.